All right, so let's talk about a budget. I was looking at a couple of things on YouTube to kind of get some ideas because I've got a budget that I've been using for a little over a year and a half now. Started this budget on January of 2015, and now it's July of 2016. I'm using the same budget. It's worked flawlessly. Uh, Excellent. Just the way it works. Um, a lot of people, when they want to talk about doing budgets, they want to categorize different things by percentages. Like, for example, uh, they may say uh, your housing needs to be 25% of your income. And uh, looks like I need to go back to school and learn how to spell. Uh, your food needs to be 8% of your income. Your clothes needs to be 4% of your income. Whoa, hold on a second. So you're telling me that I can only spend 8% on food and 8% on food. And I know that it's all, you can fluctuate it as needed, but it's silly to categorize all this stuff by percentages when the bills that you have right now are not categorized by percentages. They are real. They Your individual bills are a certain percentage based on your income, yes. But to set up a budget, you can't say, well, I'm going to spend 15% on my auto. No, you probably already have an auto payment of $350. And your income compared to that, whatever that percentage is, it just is. There's no way that you can say that your auto is 15%. Now, if your auto is 15% of your income, then you've got an income of $2,300 per month. That's bring home money. Um, so, but anyway, what I'm going to explain on this budget is realistic information. It is not some weird make believe stuff. Everything that I'm going to put forth is based on real things, realistic income, realistic bills. This is probably going to be the best budget instruction video you may have ever seen. I hope it is. I'm not saying it is. I just hope it is. The reason why I say that it could be the best, and it's definitely not going to be because of Flash and Dash, because I've got spreadsheet right here and open broadcaster software. That's all I'm using. I'm not doing any of the fancy making stuff jump around. And if your attention span is short, I want you to focus. Just pay attention, listen to what I'm saying. If I get boring, I apologize. Uh, because what I'm going to tell you and what I'm going to explain to you is something that has worked for me for a year and a half. And I don't see an end in sight because it just works. So, anyway, first of all, you've got to know your expenses. You have to know how much money you have coming in. Hang on just one second. I added this extra sheet when I was showing you that kind of about what everybody else says. So I need to take it out because it's just going to be in the way. Okay, your monthly expenses. Now, you need to break it down if you have weekly expenses and monthly bills. And you see, I already put $350 in for the auto because I was just talking about that a second ago. Now, on weekly expenses, this could be anything that you have to pay every single week, a set amount. For example, my wife and I, we have daycare that we pay every single week. So, I'm going to put a number in here. Now, I'm all of these numbers are just a little bit inflated over actual expenses because I don't want people to know what all my bills are. and I don't want people to know what my income is. So everything in here is inflated. Nothing in here is true to my financial situation. Um, so anyway, all right, just real quick. Your weekly cost on this expense is $125 every single week. And the reason why we're doing this is because there's 52 weeks in a year. If you take 52 weeks and you divide it by 12, it does not equal 4. That is why we're having to break this down to an average monthly cost, because $125 a week is $500, not $541. So you've got to calculate for that little extra, because 4 times in the year you'll have to pay this weekly expense one extra time 4 times a month, or 4 times during the year. So that's why it has to be broken down. So you've got your weekly cost, you multiply it by the number of weeks in the year, you get your total annual cost on that expense. And then you divide it by 12 to get your average monthly cost. All right, now just hold on to that section right there. And then now we're going to go into your monthly bills. Now, whether it's rent or mortgage or whatever your housing expense is, you're going to add it in. And the way that I have this set up is that based on when my bill is due is the order that I have this listed. Now, some people, when they do budget stuff, they want to say utilities. I don't do utilities. I have a gas bill, I have a water bill, and I have an electric bill. Those are my utility bills. It's not a utility bill. For just, yes, it is a utility bill. What I'm saying is they want to categorize it all lump sum together. The reason why I have it separate is because that's how it will be over here. It will be separate over here. That's why it's separate over here. And I'm pointing at the monitor as if you can see my hand. So hopefully I'm moving the cursor enough also. So, all right. Internet bill is due just right after the mortgage. The mortgage is due on the 1st. Internet bill is due on the 5th. Auto bill is due on the 6th. Insurance bill is due about the 8th, something like that. And so what do I have for that? 125. And I have a cheat sheet with information wrote down, so I'm not just grabbing these numbers. 117 for gas. I know that seems high, but I'm going to show you something here in just a second. On the credit card, I'm going to say 150. For the cell phone, I'm going to say 100. For the water, guess what? 117. For the electric, guess what? 117. What? 117 for all 3 of those? Now, the reason why my utilities all are 117 is because, now, not really, but just step into the real scenario. For the past 3 years, I have kept up with my utility bills and my expenses. I have them on a spreadsheet. I know it sounds silly, but anyway, I have them on a spreadsheet, and I can see my annual average of what it is, and my monthly average of those 3 utility bills: the gas, the water, and the electric. And by doing that, I can estimate between all 3 of those how much money I'm going to have every single month to pay for those 3 bills. Now, some months, depending on how the weather is, I may not use, how much is this? $351. Some months I may not use, in this scenario, $351. Like in the fall and the spring, when the temperature is just right outside, the heater's not running, the air conditioner's not running. So the gas bill or the electric bill is going to be down. In the middle of the winter, the gas bill is going to be high. And so, it will, this may be 185, we'll say 205. And what would this be? So if the gas bill and the electric together at 117, 234. So then I could safely estimate $29. And so it balances out. Of course, electric bill ain't going to be $29. But anyway, so you kind of get the understand, I hope, of what I'm explaining there. I base them off of an average. And that way, throughout on this portion over here, throughout the year, the money that is in your budget account is going to add up, and it's going to be there when you need it for that elevated electric bill or the elevated gas bill, whichever. It'll be there. Now, a lot of people, they like to do that levelized billing. I'm sorry, I don't like doing that. I like to pay for what I use, not pay for what I think I'm going to use. So, but anyway, that's just my personal opinion. If you do the levelized billing, that's great. If it works for you, fantastic. So anyway, know your monthly bills. You got to know your monthly bills. Add them up. See what your total monthly bills is, or is, whichever is proper. And then another big thing that you must know your due dates. You've got to know when those are due. If you don't know your due dates, chances are you're paying late fees. If you're paying late fees, you're throwing money away. And if you want to throw money away, just let me know and I'll send you my address and you can throw some money my way. So, anyway, after you know your monthly bills, your total monthly bills, and your whatever your weekly costs are, add them together to get your total monthly expenses. In this scenario, it's $2,194.67. So after you have your total monthly expenses, then you're going to work on your income. You've got to know what your income is. If you don't know what your income is, and trust me, there are some people out there that really don't know what their income is, they just get it and they spend it. Whether it's on a bill, whether it's on $50 pair of jeans, whatever, they just spend it. And then whenever they get another bill in that says you owe $48 for such and such on such and such date, they look in their pocket and they don't have the money. And they're like, oh man, how am I going to pay this? And then they end up with a late fee. So anyway, that's not the way to do it. Now, of course, you can look back on your check stubs and you can get an average idea of how much your bring home is. Now, if you earn hourly wages or if you are salary, you're going to have a set income, not including overtime. If you work 40 hours a week or more, do not count your overtime. If you count your overtime to help you pay for monthly bills, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you're using overtime to pay for that vehicle payment so that you can have a $50,000 truck or the $70,000 car or whatever, you're setting yourself up for failure. Get rid of it. Get a vehicle that you can afford based on your income without overtime. And then whatever overtime money you get, put it in a savings account. And when you get enough money to pay cash for that $70,000 car, or either put enough down on it so that the payment is within the range of your non-overtime income, then buy it. But anyway, okay, going on. So know your income. For this example, I'm going to use $1,300 for me, and I'm going to use $900 for my wife. Now this is based on our paychecks that we get paid bi-weekly. We each get paid every other week, and it works great because I get paid one week, the very next week my wife gets paid, and then I get paid the following week, and then she gets paid the following week. And so it works fantastic. Of course, not everybody's in that situation. Of course, some people may be in a situation to where you get a paycheck every single week. And so whatever it is. So if you get paid every single week, chances are it's not going to be 1300. That would be what, 650. And so and then this would be 450, and then you would multiply that by 4. So basically, whatever your paycheck net income is right there, you take it, and if it's two incomes, in this scenario, I'm using two incomes because it's the way that I've got my budget set up. If you only have one income, then this is just going to be easier. But anyway, you just take your income, multiply it, and this is one paycheck. Multiply it by the number of paychecks that you get in that month. If you get paid 4 times a month, or if you get paid every week, calculate 4. Don't calculate 4.333. Calculate 4. If you get paid every week, 4 times a year, you're going to get an extra paycheck. You're going to need that extra paycheck to pay for food, gas, your weekly expense, and then of course you can just save the rest. But anyway, so for this scenario, I'm using the scenario that my wife and I have, and that is every other week. So 1300 and 900. Now, of course, charitable giving, or shall I say, tithes and offering to your church. And if you're whatever religion you are, just whatever y'all call it, giving money to somebody, helping somebody out, even if it's, you see some person on the side of the road and you're like, hey man, I'm gonna give you $100, just do it. But anyway, put that in there. So for this scenario, I'm going to say that. Actually, no, that's not the number I have. 170. Okay. All right. I've got a sheet on my desk in front of me, so that's where I'm getting some of these numbers from. I've already ran through this. As a matter of fact, this is my second take on this. The first one actually took about an hour, and so I thought, man, that was way too long. And so what I done was I cut out me typing all this because I made the spreadsheets as I explained what I was doing. And that just took too long. I figured y'all didn't want to see all that, so I'm making it a whole lot shorter, I hope. But anyway, so my income minus my charitable giving, my tithes and offering, this is my true net income. My wife's, her true net income. We need to make this change, I'm sorry. It'd be great if our monthly income was $8,800. That would be fantastic. I tell you what, I'd go get me a truck that costs $850 a month. But anyway, so twice a month this happens. We each get a check 2 times a month, and actually the way that it works for us, 2 times in the year, I get an extra paycheck on a month, and 2 times in the year she gets an extra paycheck on the month. But I don't calculate it because it actually all calculates into this budget. So when they come up, it's not really that we get extra money. It's just it all works. So anyway, figure out what your total monthly, what I call your true net income. Figure out what it is. And then from there, you're going to take your total monthly expenses. And your total monthly expenses we got from this spreadsheet right here. And here I am pointing at the monitor again, as if you can see my hands. Yeah, no, I don't have a webcam to post my face on here. And plus, I don't know all this technological stuff. It's advancing too fast. When back in the early 2000s, I knew a whole lot about the tech stuff on computers, and then I just focused on work, and it's gone. I've lost all my of course the knowledge that I have on computers is outdated. So anyway, got sidetracked here, sorry. So your true net income minus your total monthly expenses. This is going to give you the amount of money that you have that is available to you to spend every week, every other week, however your income is. For me and my wife, since we get a paycheck every single week, this is how much money, well, not exactly, but for this scenario, this fake scenario, this is how much money we have to spend on food, gas, clothes, entertainment, eating out, which actually eating out is our entertainment. Um, whatever we do, if we decide to go out of town, the expense of a trip out of town has to be saved out of this spendable funds. Uh, it's all of that is just factored in, and the reason why is because what we're doing is we're not saying that you can take 10% of your paycheck for entertainment, 15% for vacation. No, 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 no. Because your bills is what dictates what you can spend, not just you put on a piece of paper 5% for clothes. No, whatever this spendable funds is what's going to tell you, well, not necessarily tell you, but you're in charge of your budget. Your budget's not in charge of you. But this is what's going to let you know this is what you can spend on all that extra stuff. If you have to replace a tire on your vehicle, it's going to come out of this. That's why you're going to have to save some money. Now, of course, I'm going to back up just a second right over here. And out of this is net income from the paycheck that already has taxes taken out, already has insurance taken out, already has 401k contributions taken out. This is what is at the bottom of the paycheck. What shows is either given to you in the form of a check or either shows is deposited into your checking account or whatever account you have going to. That's what that is. So anyway, out of this is where you're going to get your savings from this, your extra savings. From this is what you're going to use to save up your emergency fund. From this is what you're going to use to buy your hamburgers or your hot dogs or your steaks and potatoes, whatever you want to call it. That's where that money's going to come from. And the reason why is because your total monthly expenses says you ain't going to do anything with this money except give it to all these people or businesses. So anyway, now your different two paychecks here. Like I said, this one right here is my true net income. From my true net income, I'm going to subtract the $341.33, and that is going to give me $708.67 to pay for monthly expenses. Now, of course, this is going to be 2 times. I probably should just go ahead and add that in there. Okay, I'll just add that in there. That way, for the visual effect of it, you can see. Okay, this is weekly budget funds. For my wife, her true net income minus the spendable funds, we're going to get the money that we will have to subtract from her paycheck to pay for bills. And of course, when we do this 2 times a month, these are the total amounts. Now, if you notice, our total monthly expenses is $2,194.67. If we take 708.67 plus the 388.67, which is what we get right here from our weekly budget funds, add them together, what do we get? And of course, this is from one paycheck each from us. So we're going to multiply that times 2, $2,194.68. That matches that with one whole penny left over. Talk about a savings right there. So you do that all year long, you'll have an extra 12 cents in your savings account. Ain't that great? So, but anyway, No, real seriously though, your real savings is going to come from here, or actually before here. I highly encourage take advantage of your 401k. If you work at an employer that has a 401k program, get into it and use it, and gradually work up to the maximum amount that your employer will match, even if it's half portions. For example, if your employer will do the first 2%, if they'll match it at 100%, and then say 3 and 4%, they'll match it at 50%. Just work it up there to where you're putting in 4% and you're getting everything that the employer is matching, because that's just free straight money right there, automatic return on investment. So anyway, uh, what you're going to do with this, actually we're just going to get this out of the way so it won't confuse anybody. On your budget over here, and if anybody wants to know how I set this spreadsheet up, just leave a comment, let me know, because it'll have to be a video in itself, because it did take a little bit of time to do this. The very first time that I made this budget, I used a notebook, a pencil, and a calculator. I don't know how many people still know how to write nowadays because of technology, but if you know how to write, using a pencil and a piece of paper and a calculator may be the best choice for you starting off, because that way you won't have to spend so much time thinking about making sure that this is right. Write your budget down, and I done it for the whole year, every single week of the year. Now, of course, if you get paid every other week and it's only one paycheck, then you would only put on here the weeks that you're going to get paid. If you get paid once a month, you'll put on here just once a month. So, all right, with the information that we came up with over here, your total weekly budget funds, that's what I'm calling it, for lack of a better name, you're going to take it and you're going to put over here. Say, for example, I'm just going to put right here, mine. We'll say my paycheck was first. So 708, I'll tell you what, we're just going to round it up to 709, because surely we're not going to starve for missing, what's that, 33 cents? All right, so 709. See how it automatically populated over here? Is because I've got it set to take whatever balance is above it, add in this balance, and subtract whatever balance I put in this column right here. So, all right, first of all, we've done that. Now let's put the whites in there. 388. Oh, we're going to go ahead and round that one up too. Okay. And so you can see where I'm going. Now I'm just going to put in these numbers here and leave out the who's column. Okay. All right, and you can see if I was to keep on going down, you can see it's automatically just adding everything up. Now, what you do is look at your monthly bills. Now, your mortgage is probably going to be due at the beginning of the month. Mine is. It's due on the 1st. And so for this budget right here, I'm not going to show a mortgage payment for January. And the reason why is because I paid it at the end of December of the previous year. And so just going down through the list, the first place I'm going to put my mortgage is actually going to be right here at the end of January. So this is going to be my February mortgage payment. All right, now we've got internet. For me, my internet is actually due at the beginning of the month, and so I just typically pay it at the same time when I pay my mortgage. So for January, I would have paid it on the last week of December. And so that's why I'm putting these down here. Oh, trying to move stuff around. All right, so now we're going down to auto. Now on the auto payment, the way that I do my auto payment is, and if you make your payments online, this is where it's beneficial to do it the way that I do it. I would not advise doing this method by driving to a bank every day, because you would not save any money because you would spend it in fuel to get there. But anyway, for this scenario, 350, what I do is I take it and I divide that by 4. So 8750. Actually going to round that up. Well, no, we can't round it up. We're just going to leave it at 8750. What I do on that is I'll take the auto payment, and of course I make the payment online. With auto payments, or at least from what I can tell, most of your auto payments, personal loans, unsecured loans, recreational loans, whatever, you can make payments periodically whenever you want to, or as much as you want to. Of course, you still have your deadlines, you still have your due dates that you have to meet. But if you want to make an extra payment in a month, you can. There's no penalty on that. On your mortgage, they don't allow you to do that. You only make one payment to your mortgage provider every month, or however you have it set up. If you have it set up semi-monthly, whatever, you can only make that designated payment. So if you want to put extra on your mortgage, you just have to lump it in on your one mortgage payment. So anyway, but for this scenario, or for what I do on my auto, is I divide it up into 4 payments. And the reason why I do that is because every single week that I do that, it is knocking down the per diem. And the per diem is it's interest that's added to your account every day. And so the quicker I can get that per diem down, the less in the long run I will actually end up paying. Now it's still, I mean, it's not going to save a whole lot. I've done a calculation and estimating. I mean, it may save me anywhere, I mean, depending on the loan, you may save anywhere from $50 to $100, maybe $200 throughout the course of your auto loan by breaking it up like this. And so, I mean, it's worth it. It definitely is in the long run. Now, in the short term, I mean, within 1 month, you're not going to see a huge savings. But for the long haul, it's worth it. So I make partial payments every week. Now, of course, you see, I've only done it 4 times. And look right here. The last week of January, I'm not going to make a payment. And why? Because I don't need to. I can wait until February, because, see, all 4 of these, this is something else I need to explain. All 4 of these portions right here are going to the January or the February payment. The January payment was paid back in December of 2015. So the January payment is already paid before the month even began. All 4 of these are for February. That way you won't get confused. I don't want you to think that I'm stretching my January payment out. I'm not. It's my February payment. So anyway, all right. So we've got the mortgage, the internet, the auto, insurance added in here. It's typically due at the beginning of the month. So we'll add it on here, 125, and you notice everything's automatically coming down. And this is what you're going to do. The gas bill, we'll go ahead and put it. We'll go ahead and put it on the first week. And credit card, we'll put it down here. And what do we have? 150. For the cell phone, yeah, we'll put it right here also. And then the water bill, you know, the water bill we're actually going to put down here. And then the electric, I'm going to put up here. And the reason why I'm putting the electric up here is because my electric company, I don't understand why they do this, but there's a range that that they have the due date in. It's anywhere from the 14th of the month to the 20th of the month. and I don't know when it's going to be due until I get my bill. And so I just always plan before the 14th. So anyway, that's basically what it's going to look like. And then of course we've got to add in whatever our weekly expense is. Like for me and my wife, it's daycare. We've got to add that in there. And this is every single week of the year. So you see right here, it got down to $64. This is why we plan the expense like this. You get an average monthly cost and you add it in to your monthly bills to get that. If we just went with 125 times 4 and got 500, I'm just going to plug that in right there. It'd be 2153. And that would change. You notice those numbers are different than what these numbers are. You see that it's come down. Now, since this is the first 2 weeks of this, it probably would not. Let's see. What would it do? Say 699 and 379. So no, it didn't go in negative, but you see how much lower it is. It's $20 less. So that's why on here we average that monthly expense. That way it'll take care of those low parts. And what I suggest doing is going through the whole year, every single week, bi-week, monthly, however your paycheck is set up. You got to do it based off of your paycheck. But however it is set up, go through every single week and write your stuff down, do your math, figure out what you need. And then if you hit any negatives when you're going down through here and doing this, that's okay. Just keep on, because you'll make that change at the end. Once you figure out what your lowest negative number is, you come right here and you plug in, say going down through there you ended up with a negative $48. Just make sure that when you start this you have a beginning balance of 50 to give you a little bit of cushion. And that way it'll take care of that negative. It may be way down here in September, but it's just because the way everything works or everything flows, and it may be good. And one thing is, your utilities do vary. You may spend more, so you just always got to keep an eye on it, and you've got to plan it. It's not an autopilot thing. This is not it's not Tesla, which is not an autopilot. Autopilot, that just makes no sense, letting a car drive for you. And anyway, I'm not going to get off into that. But you have to work it. You have to watch it. This is a budget, and it works. Like I said, I've been doing this budget for a year and a half. I hope I'm not making too much noise. My mic is kind of falling off my head. It's just a cheap mic that I got at a store that I don't go to anymore. But anyway, the budget, it works, but you have to make it work. You can't just plug everything in and just go from there. And I mean, to a degree, yes, that's basically what I do. Is every single week, say like right here, I'll back up with actually some stuff. So like on January 22nd, I see my wife's income is $389 that needs to go to the budget. And so the way I work it is my budget funds is in a savings account. Now, if you want to have it in a checking account, it'd probably be easier. Which, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to say put it in a checking account, because for me to explain how I work it out of a checking account may be confusing. Or if you just want to do straight cash. in envelope systems. You can do that. But I'm just going to say this budget is in its own account, and from it is where you're going to pay these bills. And so, like for this example, you know, the starting amount is 0. I had, so I could have zeros up there. If anybody knows how to make that have zeros on there without doing that, leave me a comment. Let me know, because I don't know otherwise. So that's why I done that. But anyway, at the beginning of the year, put $709 into the account. From it, you make your debits of these amounts. At the end of the week, when these bills are paid, you should have $254.50 left in that checking account. The next week, you take $389 from the next paycheck and you add it into that account, and you make all these subtractions, deductions for these expenses. You should have $64 in that account. As long as you do that, you'll be okay. And now, of course, like on the utilities, they are estimated, and so it will vary. And so, like in January, the gas bill may be more. It may be $155. But you know what? The electric bill is going to be less. It may be $85. And so you see it balances out. And that's where, you may want to start off with, you know, $50 extra in the account or whatever, maybe even $10 extra in the account to give you a little bit of extra cushion, whatever you can do, because those fluctuations in those utilities could affect you if you don't watch it. And that's why I watch it. I keep up with it. When I get my utility bills in, I go into my budget and I go down to wherever it's at and I plug that number in. If my electric bill is $126, I put that in there. It probably has uh, whatever we'll say for this scenario, $117. So it's false. It's $126. I need to make it show that so that I can see what's going to affect down here. And so that's how the budget works. I hope I wasn't too confusing. If I am, if something was not clear, please ask. I would like to go into more details if needed. But of course, I don't want to bore you. I don't want to confuse you, because I can easily do that. Somebody just today actually told me that they've heard there's two different types of people. One type, they think 1 mile wide and 1 inch deep. And then there's the other type that think 1 inch wide and 1 mile deep. And he said that I'm the type of person that thinks 1 inch wide and a mile deep. And he said it is as a compliment, because I really dig into what I'm working on. And it was a coworker that said that, which has benefited me very well on my job. But this budget, if it doesn't make sense, ask questions. If anybody puts up anything silly, I'm just going to take it off, because there's no need. I mean, it's ridiculous to be making fun of stuff like this. I mean, this is what works. I have proof. Of course, I'm not going to show you the proof because it's my budget. But if you want proof, sit down, do the math, get you a piece of paper, a pencil, and a calculator, and work through it. Looking at all these budgets where they say calculate this percentage for this and this percentage for that and this percentage for something over there, it don't work. I mean, it may work for 1 or 2 people, but it's silly, because your bills are real. This example that I've given you is very realistic. This example is to the point, nothing silly about it. It is very realistic. Everybody has to pay something for housing. Everybody has to pay, well, not everybody has to pay internet bill, but I mean, insurance, utilities. A lot of people, too many people, have credit card bills. Your cell phone, whatever. you have these expenses. These are real expenses. We're not going to count clothing as an expense. Your clothing is going to come out of your spendable funds. Hold on a second. That's my mild deep thinking right there, making sure everything's perfect. Even though I'm about to delete all this and just close it all out, because you see I don't have anything saved on here. But anyway, that's that. If you have any questions, let me know. Any suggestions? I'm open to them. I don't know how much open I am. I may rebuttal because, like I said, a year and a half, the budget has worked great. It's worked fantastic. I don't stress about trying to figure out, man, what have I paid? What do I got coming up? All I got to do is just I pull in my spreadsheet and I'm like, oh, that's it. I just got to pay that. I got to pay my water bill. Of course, got to pay daycare every single week. So that's, I don't ever forget about that. But that's it. I just see what I've got there. Like, okay, send it off. I'm done in like 10 minutes. All my expenses, my weekly expenses are paid. And if you want me to help you with your scenario, you may have to get real personal and share with me your information for me to help you. I'd be willing to do it. But of course, just keep in mind that if you try to get in touch with me and I don't get right back with you, it's just because I don't have a smartphone. I don't care for a smartphone. It's just a wasted expense in this scenario. I'll go and share this with you. That's my cell phone bill, $72 a month. That's it. I have a flip phone. My wife has a flip phone. Got a little bit of internet on it. That's it. But anyway, yeah, I'd be, glad to help you if I can. Of course, like I said, you would just have to, tell me what all your stuff is. So yeah, now I'm just rambling, and just leave any comments, thoughts, opinions. Again, if you, if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's your choice. But hopefully that this is some good information that's going to help somebody. And if it helps you, let me know. I want to know because it's what I like. Some other videos on some vehicle maintenance stuff. It's helped a couple of guys. They let me know. It makes me feel good to know that I've helped somebody with something that I've learned and something that I've took time to develop, basically, and share. So, okay, I'm going to let you go now. Thanks. Bye.